to our F.I.R.E podcast, Fathers in Real Estate, where we talk to real estate professionals that are a part of our F.I.R.E community. F.I.R.E stands for Fathers in Real Estate. It is our mission to help encourage and bring together not only a mastermind, but a collaboration, a resource, support group for men that are in real estate. Maybe they are fathers, maybe they aspire to be father one day, maybe they have grown kids and they're now just in that life of mentorship. So today we're going to meet a good friend of mine, Andy O'Shea. He's a dedicated real estate professional with 22 years of experience. He's been happily married for 29 years as the proud parent of 3 adult children, one working for Disney in Orlando, another with the Capitol Police in Washington, D.C., and the third finishing college in Snohomish. When he's not immersed in real estate, Andy enjoys fly fishing, traveling, and indulging in great food. He has a passion for photography, boasting an impressive collection of over 250,000 photos on his iPhone. Coolness. Hey, Andy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dan. I'm glad to be here. I don't know if I should be proud to have over a $250 million photos on my phone, or if I should be looking for a support group. I'm not really sure.
It might be time to.
Yeah, I do love photography.
It might be time to delete some of those. Like, do you have to keep expanding your iPhone in order to do that, or what do you do?
No, I'm barely at 10% memory, and they all go to the cloud every day anyway. So I just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
But I do have like 40,000 in my favorites folder, so that might be the problem. So anyway,
40,000. That's pretty impressive. Now, I mean, now you are a photographer. Do you take photos, or is it only iPhone?
I do take photos. No, a lot of iPhone stuff, but I also have a good 35 millimeter camera with a long zoom lens. And we have eagles here at our beach, and otters, and harbor seals, and there've been whales across the harbor in the last couple of weeks, and it's just been amazing watching the last 4 years living here at the beach, and before that doing lots of wildlife photography, and I just love being outside, whales and fishing and all kinds of stuff. So
I'm clearly doing something wrong because I'm sitting here in this stupid office and you're out. So this is what's cool about this podcast is we get to see the realtor in his real environment. And here is Andy O'Shea living life by design, right?
Right. Yep.
Where technically he's at a house that he's got listed for sale, right? Why don't you tell us about the house for sale? Maybe we have a buyer here.
Maybe so. So it is an 1.5 acres, 125 feet of beach, no bank, west facing, walkout beach. It's actually my own personal residence. We've lived here 4 years, and it's been a dream come true. It's just been an incredible house. We actually looked for it for about 10 years. And we have loved living here. It's an incredible, 3-story home with 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and 2 kitchens, and a huge wraparound deck and a big covered patio. We've loved living here, but we now are in a situation where we have multiple family members who are not doing well, several battling cancer, a sister who got diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, brother that's had a couple of heart attacks. So in the next 6 months, we're going to be doing a fair amount of traveling to be with family that need us for support. So we decided, rather than just letting our big old house sit here empty, to put it on the market, see if we can't find a buyer, and then just be able to go be with family. I'm still going to be doing real estate full time, and as we all do, but being able to be with family, because that's the life that we want. When my mom passed away about 6 years ago, I was able to be with her for 30 straight days and still manage some real estate stuff on the side. But, as this stage in life, we have older family, we have lots and lots and lots of friends, and we have people who are getting sick and dying. I've lost 4 close people to me in the last year, spoken to 4 funerals. So the home's amazing. It's an incredible place. It's been a dream come true, but in the end, it's just a house. So we've decided to list it, see if we can get a buyer, and then be able to go be with family. So.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the concept that I had behind this group is being able to seek wisdom from our peers and and those that have gone before us. As a younger agent starting out, you're just kind of thinking about survival, like how do I make sure I provide for my family? But you're kind of in
for sure.
You're in that space of significance, right? Where it is
yes.
Actually, you're able to live the lifestyle you've chosen. and continue to help and serve our community in real estate, but also looking at the bigger picture. Tell me about your journey a little bit. Like, how do you get there, and how does somebody kind of cast the vision of where you're at now?
Yeah, that great question, Dan. So, 22 years into this, we have created the flexibility and the freedom to go be with the people that we want to be with. But in the early days when I'm building my career, I started with two friends and they'd been doing it 10 and 15 years. So I was mentored by them for the first 3 years in my career. I learned everything from transaction coordinating, assisting, buyer showing specialist, and then showing agent, and then listing assistant and listing specialist. And I learned the whole circle of real estate, and the way they did business was making sure their family was taken care of first in their calendar. And
Mm.
so taking that into my own independent business, I was on my own for several years. Then I joined up with a couple of guys. We built a partnership and built a team selling 150 homes a year. And during all of that time, raising our kids, we have three kids, and that, now they're 27, 25, and 22. But in the early parts of my career, they were little. So I'm, coaching soccer at 3 in the afternoon, or I'm at the concerts at 5 in the evening. So, and I was just part of a big church for 15 years. I sang every 2 weeks. So when your kids are little, you just make sure that your clients understand you're there for them, and you go well above and beyond serving your folks well, but you make sure you take care of your family first. And there's stops and starts and mistakes that we all make. But if you try to create that family first model, you'll attract clients into your life who respect that. And if the clients don't respect that, then you don't want to work with them. I have a couple of realtors that'll work 24/7, anytime, any day, that I refer people to if clients are looking for that kind of expectation. But if they allow me to be their realtor, I'll provide the best service, the best follow up, the best care for them. And then they'll have an incredible experience. And then they tell their friends and neighbors and family and coworkers. So that's been the vision of my business, to create it so that my family is first. We go to Florida about every 90 days to be with our son for 5 or 6 days at a time. Our daughter in D.C., we see her at least 3 or 4 times a year. Although now we found out last week she's moving back to Seattle. So that'll be fun. I'll probably go get to drive a U-Haul for her because I've done that 6 times in my life. But building a life by design, it stops and starts, but it comes with the first priority is to calendar. I have a calendar every week that I do. The right side is my family, my friends, the people, the important people in my life. That's the first priority. And then over in the middle are all the things you have to do. And then on the left-hand side are all the dollar producing activities. So I make sure that I read, I pray each day, then I focus on my family stuff, and then I focus on the dollar producing stuff. And then the whole to-do list, it's just always there to get done.
Yeah, and here's what I'm hearing between the lines on this too, Andy, is when 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 those, I'm going to use an analogy, is stockbrokers and bankers, make six figures. They do. Stockbrokers and high level
Yeah,
bankers make six figures, and they do bankers hours. They're open from 9 a.m.
right.
to 5 p.m. Yet there's this idea of always being on and always being available. And what I've seen in my experience, there have been times when I had to be always on, and that was fine. But if I didn't find the space in that time to make sure that the important relationships in my life were nurtured and cared for, then I was resenting being away. I was resenting being with the
Absolutely.
clients, and then my heart's not in it a full 100%. And two,
For
what I
sure.
also
For
heard
sure.
from what you said there too is choosing who you want to work with. And I think that that's a
Yes.
luxury that most agents don't understand or appreciate, is that by being fully present and being sincere in your care and competence with your clients, um, you replicate more people like you are going to serve. So if you serve the demanding,
Yes.
the nitpicky, the ones that want the cheapest possible price, if you continue to serve that, you're going to get more of that.
Absolutely.
When you choose to serve the ones that you
Absolutely.
get, those expound as well. So
They
I
do. Absolutely. And you teach people how to treat you.
yeah,
If you teach people that you can be walked on and that you're available 24/7, then they will treat you that way.
yeah,
When I meet with people in the beginning, one thing I learned early in my career is, it's a simple phrase, but I tell people when I meet with them, whether they're a buyer, a seller, investor, whatever they are, I share with people my goal is to provide such great care that when we're done, they'll tell everyone they know that to work with Andy. And I set the bar really high, but I also tell everyone I meet with, I don't say yes to everyone that wants my help, because I want to work with a seller, a buyer, investor who's realistic about what they can accomplish and allow me to be the professional. If somebody's sold 5 or 6 or 10 homes in their life, sometimes they feel like they know it and they can be in charge. But if a client won't allow me to be in charge of the process and trust me to do that, then there are some clients I choose not to work with. And yes, it's a luxury when you do it for 20 years to be able to do that. But when you tell people you might not work with them, they want to work with you even more. And they want to understand what it is that they're going to be expected to do as a client. So I tell people, I got 2 realtors that'll do anything, anytime, anywhere for you if that's what you're going to demand. But that's not me, because I'm a professional and I expect to be treated like one. If you're going to court because you get sued, are you going to hire a rookie attorney or somebody that'll cut you a deal? Or are you going to hire one that's been doing this a while, that has experience, intuition, and expertise, who will treat you well so you get the best experience possible? And then they'll tell their friends who are more like them, realistic, and understand the expectations. But it's really a foundation of customer care, treating people so well that they have an incredible experience. The minute I'm at every closing for my clients, I'm at every signing appointment. So they're like, wow, what are you doing here? I've sold 5 or 6 houses. I've never had my realtor at my signing appointment. Well, it's your money. I want to make sure every penny is taken care of. And if anything comes up, I'm here to support you. I didn't just do this for a paycheck. I did this to create a client for life. And in the last 3 weeks, I've had 8 referrals. And I'm thrilled, because it's a ripple effect of good customer care that just keeps going and going and going. Just could not be more grateful.
Is there one story that stands out of you solving a problem or serving a client at a high level? Is there one story that stands out over your 22 years?
One that happened about 3.5 months ago, Dan. This wonderful lady. She's 90 years old, and her niece was involved in helping her sell a house she'd lived in for 40 years. Well, they got referred to me, and we spoke over the phone a couple of times, and then I didn't hear from them for a month. And come to find out, the grandmother, the 90-year-old grandmother, got talked into working with a local neighborhood expert realtor. Well, it didn't go well. For about 3.5 weeks, the niece wasn't involved in any of the paperwork, and she was supposed to be. It went under contract. They didn't do anything. The house was a mess, and it needed a lot of work, and the realtor didn't do anything. So finally, in the end, they got some advice, some legal advice from somebody, and they terminated that contract. And then they asked me to help sell the house. So I went in and we cleaned it for 2 days. We carpet cleaned it. We did landscaping. The front door was so dirty we couldn't clean it. We actually painted the front door. We painted the garage door. I then fully staged the house, made it look incredible. We did open houses for 2 days and had over 200 buyers come through an open house. And when I got that house under contract and sold and closed, she sold that house for $150,000 more than the first realtor she hired that didn't do what needed to be done and didn't handle it right and didn't treat them well. And the niece was involved in every step of the way, helping her 90-year-old grandmother. So in the end, the niece said, "Thank you for taking such good care of my grandma." And that meant the world to me. She was safe. She felt protected. She felt like the whole thing went well. And she put another 150 grand in her bank because I did what a good realtor would do.
Yeah, that's great. And that's really, I think, honestly, when you think about doing this at a high level, is making sure that you understand that this relationship between the niece and the grandmother are what matters most. And you can come in like that other real estate agent and basically just treat it like a transaction, or you can understand the dynamic that's happening there. That for a 92-year-old to sell their house, that they spent probably 30, 40 years in that house.
Over 40, yep.
And over 40, and every room has a memory. Every wall has a memory. Every, living room has a celebration in it, or a time of sorrow. And they're going through those emotions. And so it's not just a transaction,
absolutely,
or even serving them at a high level. It's really being able to, at essence, do what we do well. For those of us that know and love real estate, is being a part of that life journey with our clients.
Yes.
Yeah. So good.
Absolutely. So they can take the next step in their adventure. And they're in California. I'll likely never get a referral from them ever because they're both in California. But to me, it's about caring so well for my clients that it makes me feel good about what a good job that I can do for someone. And to me, above and beyond, there isn't such a thing. That's what you do to help people. The last house I sold, an estate home, I helped two brothers sell the home of the parents that lived there a long time, and dad passed away and mom was in care. We got 5 dumpsters worth of stuff out of that house and 2 giant shops, and cleaned it, landscaped it. We did staging, we handyman, we did some flooring work. And the brothers are like, we thought this was going to take 4 months and we got it done in 6 weeks. And that's not above and beyond. That's just what you do. You work. I grew up on a farm. You work hard or you don't work. And you do your best to care for people because it's the right thing to do. It's the way I want to be treated. So it's what I want to do for every one of my clients. And then again, I learned from my original coach, Brian Buffini. If you help people, it not only feels good, but they'll help you in the end. And it's just a great way to live and a great way to run a real estate business. I'm really proud of how I've learned, and I've had some incredible coaches in my career, some great mentors, and I've made lots of mistakes. We all do, and certainly not perfect, but I'm really grateful to get a continual sort of ripple effect of referrals because my goal is to first and foremost provide great care, not earn a paycheck.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let's pivot a little bit to
Okay.
your faith. And I don't want to hear your whole faith story because that's great. What I want to hear is for those who may be struggling in a market that's challenging to balance finances, faith, and, when it seems like God may be vacant, maybe distant, maybe like not quite sure. How did you navigate through some of the most challenging markets we've seen, whether it be 2008 or even the last couple of years? I know you've had a lot of movement in your own life. But just kind of
for sure.
walk us through how you see God showing up in that.
Well, I see God showing up in the family members, the friends, the long-term relationships that we have nurtured. We have friends that we've known for 30 years and have deep, long friendships. We've been part of a small group for over 20 years that we started from our church. And the way God shows up is I do my best. Every morning I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm asking for wisdom and strength and grace to be a good husband, a good father, a good business person, and to really make a difference in the world. And when it's lean, God shows up through the people in my life. And when it's good, we do our best to bless and support others. And when on the times where I have felt like God is distant, I know that God is there. It's me who's allowed myself to be too busy and too preoccupied and too focused on other things to notice that God really is right there. It's not He hasn't moved. I've gotten too busy to notice He's right there. Just like a good relationship, I think. And we've all had good ones and we've all had bad ones. We've had relationships that have ended that we didn't think would. We've had relationships that have gone on that we didn't think would. But the relationship with God is He never changes. He doesn't move. His love is new. His strength is there. His grace is available. We just have to ask. But it's us when we're too busy to ask that we think it's God moving away from us. But it's not. It's us. I'm incredibly grateful for 2 mentors in my life who helped me really deepen my faith. When I was 22 with a mentor in a guy's discipleship group, he talked about getting up early every day and reading and praying and journaling. In fact, I just spoke at his funeral about 3 months ago. And I told this story in this group this one night. He talked about reading and praying and journaling at 5 a.m. And I remember as a 22-year-old going, man, that's amazing, Ed. I wish I could do that. And he looked at me with these steel blue eyes and he said, Andy, nobody's going to get up for you. And it was such a simple yet profound thing. If I want to be a person of faith who reads and prays and who seeks God, nobody's going to get up for me. Nobody's going to do that work for me. And that same thing translates into relationships and your health and your finances. Nobody's going to do that for you. But what's important, make decisions to live that out. Just so grateful for mentors in my life who've helped me realize that God's not distant. It's me that gets too busy to realize He's right here all the time.
Yeah. I think about the mountains behind you in a certain angle there. And they haven't moved at all, right? We're constantly moving around. We're moving around. We're doing this. The clouds have come in, so it'd be hard to see them, but they haven't moved. they're there, you know. And I think that that visual, as we all have drift from time to time, just to have that affirmation, that simple affirmation of staying put, and staying true, and knowing that you know, the creator universe isn't moving around. It's us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he,
Mountains move inch by inch over decades,
right.
and God moves and changes throughout history. But
Oh, we lost him. Okay, let's see if
I'm
he
here.
comes. Oh, you're
Uh-oh.
there. Oh, I lost.
I hear
We
you. I hear you.
lost video. That's all. So it's okay. Finish
Okay.
your thought.
Okay. So, you know, the mountains move inch by inch. The glacial, the tectonic plates, and you know, we've been to Alaska and seen the giant glaciers. They form over tens of thousands and thousands of years, and yet our stuff seems so monumental, so significant when we're in it.
Mm,
But anything that we go through is shorter term compared to the God of history. And, you know, having lost four significant people in my life in the last year and spoken at four funerals, I've really been doing a lot of soul searching and what is important, what is critical. Things that I thought in my 20s and 30s and even 40s that I thought were super, super important, I'm realizing now just are not that important. And
mm.
the most important thing is my faith, my family, my friends, the and making a difference in the world. And it's such a gift. Real estate's a gift. You can make a difference in the world by treating people well, because a lot of people have terrible real estate experiences. They just do. So to me, it's a real gift, and my goal is to not only help raise the bar of professionalism in the real estate industry, but just make sure that every client I work with, I get the privilege, incredible privilege to work with, is really well cared for.
I love that. Thank you, Andy. I really do. I've got one more question, and then we're gonna head on out to our respective
Okay.
ways. So
Okay.
you've got a funny story about being a father. Tell us this story.
Which one?
This had to do with a T-shirt.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So, 7 years ago, I got diagnosed with diabetes. And apparently the doctor said I have had it my whole life. I've just learned how to eat and drink and work around diabetes. And, but throughout, especially the last 15 years of life, you know, I sort of felt some emotional ebbs and flows and energy ebbs and flows. And, you know, come to find out my body is squeezing all the liquid out of me and I'm needing more insulin than my body's producing. So it makes sense. Now that I've been diagnosed, I've been on insulin, I've been on other medications, I feel like a completely different human being. But
Mm.
for many years in raising our kids, they knew when dad was hangry and when dad was well fed and well hydrated. But I didn't know it was diabetes. So for my birthday one year, my family lovingly bought me a t-shirt that said, for me to wear, I'm sorry for what I said when I was hungry. So that kind of love goes a long ways.
I'm sorry for what I said when I was hungry. That's pretty funny. Oh my gosh. Well, leave us with a final thought. Like, this is a group of guys that are looking to grow their business, build a healthy, fantastic family, and you know, be men of faith in our communities. What's kind of your last word, Andy?
Make sure you prioritize your faith and your family and trust God to redeem. Anytime that you give him, he will give back to you in clients and income. If you first, you know, seek first his kingdom, and all other things will be added unto you. Make sure that's your priority. When you're chasing checks, it's not going to work out well for you. It just won't. Serve him, seek him, serve him, trust him, do the best that you can with your family. We all make mistakes, and none of us are perfect, but do the best you can and trust him to redeem the time to bring you clients and deals and transactions that will help you have a good living.
Love it. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate your time here on this, and I look forward to seeing you on our Friday calls when you have the availability time.
You bet.
Have a wonderful week. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for the opportunity, Dan. Take care.
Bye.